Well, greetings and salutations. I have been trying to figure out, I have been wanting to do a tutorial on how to make a basic trifold mask with elastic ear loops, which is the kind I sell at primitiverootsconjure.com. I've been racking my brain about it because I'm not quite sure if this is going to work. I want to do it a POV from my point of view, so it's better for you guys. But the camera's like in my way while I'm sewing, so I have to look around it, and I'm going to try it. So hopefully this is going to help. So let's start out first with the pattern, right? So an adult mask is a 6x9 rectangle. This is my cardboard pattern because I'm making like 800 masks a month. So I made a sturdy cardboard pattern. So your average adult mask is going to be 6 inches vertical and 9 inches horizontal. Okay, and then your children's size is going to be 7.5 inches horizontal by 5 inches vertical. That's child size as compared to the adult size mask. Okay, so first thing you want to do is make a pattern. Then you're going to cut 2 pieces of fabric. You need 1 piece, which is going to be your cover, which is the part everybody sees. These are all cut. These are all cut, ready to be made into masks. And then you need ones for lining. They're both the same size, 6x9. Okay, and then you're going to need a lining material. Now there's a lot of theory out there about fabric for masks. I don't want to get into that right now. These are the child size masks, and these are child size liners. These are the elastic. I'm not going to get into fabrics. Let's just say that I make my masks with 100% cotton for both the cover and the liner. Okay, so then we're going to cut elastic. You're going to pre-cut it. It's going to be a 9-inch piece of elastic. Trying to see, you guys can see that. So it's the entire, or I'm sorry, a 6-inch piece of elastic. The entire length of the side, right? So that's going to be your elastic. So your next step, see, I already started this one. Shit. Hold on, I'm trying to set this up. I really wish I could have my husband like video this because I need both hands. So if I can show you, and I am a professional seamstress, I'm a professional clothing designer, I own the company, No Human Intentions clothing label. So this is your can I zoom this out anymore? No, I can't. This is your cover. Okay, this is what is going to be on the front. This is your liner. So you want your cover facing you, right? Facing inside towards you, not like this, right? You don't want to see the back of it. You want to see the front of it. Okay? And then you take your liner fabric. Your liner probably doesn't have a pattern. And there's the thing about liners. I have been making masks for many years. I started mask making back in 2003. I actually made masks just like this for a few platoons in the army that were deployed in Iraq, and they loved these masks because it kept the dust out of their face, also kept some germs out and stuff, as we know. So I'm really good at the mask making. But I have been speaking to a lot of nurses and doctors, and they reiterate the point that you shouldn't have the same pattern on both sides of your mask, right? You should have one that's one pattern and one that's either a plain color or a different pattern. The reason being, so you can tell front from back. So if you take your mask off, you're not picking it up and putting the dirty side that was facing the world on the inside of your face, right? So this makes sense. A lot of doctors and nurses like the masks that have a distinguishable front from back. Okay, so again, pattern is facing you. You have your liner. You're going to start about a little bit past halfway Okay, so this is going to be like the center of the fabric. You want to start a little bit past that, about a 1/8 inch hem, and you're going to straight stitch it. You're going to start with a back stitch to lock the stitch. So we're going to back stitch it. We're going to do a straight. See, you're going to stop about a 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Then you get your little pre-cut piece of elastic. You open this up. You put your elastic in so the corner is in the corner, and you want to pull it up, okay, because you don't want to stitch in your elastic, so you want to make sure it's out of the way, right? So you got your corner of your elastic here, and you're going to finish your stitch, sealing in the elastic. Okay, then you're going to turn it. Now I always check this to make sure the elastic is out of the way. You can also kind of feel, you can feel where the elastic's running through the fabric. So again, we want to make sure our lining is lined up here. We want to make sure our elastic is completely out of the way. And we're going to go straight again with another 1/8 inch seam. Stopping again about a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch from the edge. See, and I'm messing this up because I'm trying to do it in front of the camera and it's really hard. Okay, so at this point you're going to open this up. You're going to find your elastic and you're going to pull it down to the edge. Again, now you want to drop your foot. Make sure the elastic is not under the foot like it is now. Okay, you don't want that. You want it off to the side, and you're going to kind of loop it. I don't know if you guys can see that. You want to bring it over with your finger. Here's my elastic in front, and just kind of hold it on the corner. Okay, then you're going to bring your lining back down and finish that off, catching the corner of the elastic. Then we're going to turn it again. Zoom this back out. Again, making sure our liner is pretty much straight. Okay, and now it's just a straight stitch, 1/8 inch. At this point, you could add a piece of metal wire to the center if you want to have a bendable nose bridge. I don't do those with my mask because my masks usually fit well enough that you don't need that. Again, stopping a 1/2 to a 1/4 inch from the edge. We're going to do the same thing as we did on the other side. We're going to pull this back. We're going to put our elastic in on the corner and making sure our elastic is out of the way, well out of the way. Bring the liner back down. Finish that stitch. Turn. Again, we're going to feel it and make sure it's out of the way so we're not catching it. 1/8 inch hem. Stopping again. 1/2 to a 1/4 inch from the edge. We're going to reach in. Now this part's a little more difficult because you're already sewed on this side. So you got to reach in and you got to feel where the elastic is and pull it. Can y'all see it? And you also want to feel while you're doing this to make sure your elastic didn't spin. You don't want twisted elastic, right? You want it nice and flat and straight. So you want to feel and make sure it's flat and not twisted. Same thing as on the other side. We're going to pull, see it? We're going to pull the elastic around the presser foot to the corner and finish that stitch. Catching the corner as we go. Turn again. Now we're going to straight stitch to about that far. Okay, so you guys can see where my other stitches started. Right here. So what we're going to do is leave about a 1/2 inch to an inch gap here between stitches for turning. So I'm going to stitch this, straight stitch, and we're going to back stitch and lock it about a 1/2 inch. So we have a space here that is not stitched. Okay, and then we're going to take it and cut. Now we do the turning. I'm going to try and do it in front of the camera. Whoop. Okay. Alright. So here's our stitch piece of fabric. This is what it looks like, and we have a space down here that is not stitched, right? So we're going to go in that hole, open it up, and we're going to turn the fabric inside out. Now what I like to do to make sure I didn't miss any edges or my seams are strong, see my thumb is right here. I like to run my thumb along every seam. Okay, here's our corner. You want them corners pushed out real good, and I tug on the elastic on the corners. That helps pull the corner out, but it also I make sure that it's secure. I'm running my finger, my thumb, along the seam. Now if there was any missed spots here, my thumb would go through it, and then I'd have to go back and restitch that. Okay, so I'm pulling on the elastic, making sure the corners are out good, making sure the elastic is secure, going along the seam again on this side. And here's my corner. I'm going to pull the elastic out, get that corner out good, go along this seam, pull that out, tug on that elastic, make sure it's secure. Okay, now you have your base. That's step one. This is a whole stack of step ones. Now let's try and do step two. This is really difficult to do with a camera in front of my face while I'm sewing. Okay. Oh, another important part is when you're doing this, you want to make sure your fabric is right side up from your opening on the bottom, because sometimes those edges don't meet quite as neatly as they do on the top. So you want to make sure your opening is on the bottom and that your fabric is upright. I mean, you can do it the other way, but it just makes it more neat. Okay, so this part we're going to get our seams straight here. We're going to lock our needle in the down position because that'll hold the fabric, right? So now I can't move the fabric. The needle is through it. And we're going to do a straight stitch here, making sure our seams are nice and even. Straight stitch after a lock stitch, of course. This is really hard to do with a camera in front of my face. Okay, we'll get to the corner. It's locked, so the fabric is not going to go anywhere, so I keep my seam. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, making sure our seams are straight. We're going to go down this side. Okay, now here we're going to turn. Now you're going to see our opening is right here. We're going to tuck in. I wish you guys can see this. I'm going to tuck in, okay, that seam spot, and we're going to make sure there aren't any damn threads hanging out. Okay, tuck that in good and make it a nice straight seam as you possibly can so you can't really see where the opening was. And straight stitch. Okay, make sure that's tucked in really nice and neat. Make it as nice and neat as you can. The point is you don't want to see where your opening was, where you turned it. So you want to tuck that in nice and neat and try to make it as nice a seam as you can. Okay, so on this side, we're going to start the pleating. The way I pleat is I get my seams nice and flat and straight. I take about a thumb inch and I make a pleat by pushing this up and bringing it down. And then I straighten the edge. Make sure it's a nice straight pleat here. Okay, drop our foot and we do one pleat. About halfway through that pleat, I stop with the needle locked still so it's not going to move. And I make one more pleat, same way. You push it back, and then you got to make sure the edge of the pleat is nice and straight and finish that stitch off. Okay, now we're going to turn. Now the idea here is try and follow your stitch line from the first time you want to cross them. It's not going to be perfectly straight probably, but just try and stay along that, in that same line. Okay, get to the corner, we're going to turn, we leave the foot up. Now here, I grab my other side, okay, and I'm pulling it to make the pleat come the whole way across, and I follow this pleat the whole way, and I make sure it's an even pleat, okay, whole way across. Drop that foot, and we do a half stitch through there, stop, about halfway through, and I do the same thing down here. You grab this pleat, and you just start pulling and folding until you have a nice even pleat the whole way across, and then you finish that stitch. At the end, you're going to lock stitch it. Raise your needle lock, cut your thread, and there you have it. We have a trifold pleated mask with elastic ear loops. It opens up. Alright, so good face coverage for the whole face, nose and all included. And your back is going to be your solid, there's a piece of thread stuck on there, is going to be your solid liner, is going to be your back. Now what I do is I take it over to my ironing board and I just iron it nice and tight, them pleats, make it nice and flat and solid, and so the pleats will stay after it's worn. And that's how you do a trifold mask. I hope this helped you guys. If you don't want to do all this work, and see, I do like 800 of these masks a month. Like, this is all I do. Not all I do, but it's a lot of what I do constantly. If you guys don't want to do all this work, either if you don't have a sewing machine or whatever, my masks are available at primitiverootsconjure.com. They're $5. I want everybody to be able to afford a mask. I'm not going to price gouge them, and I hope this helped you guys. And if it did, please like, subscribe, and share. Talk to you later.